Step 4, personal accountability. Now, this is one of the best things that no one has ever told you. They shouldn't tell us. Our health is our responsibility. We are in control of our health. And so this is very important. It's not your doctor's responsibility. It's not your partner's responsibility. And also, if you've noticed since we started, every time we have a personal story, I tell it from my perspective of my story, and Cece tells her story. Because I don't know Cece's story. We love each other. We've been married. We've been together for about 14 years now.
I think 11 or 12.
Oh, it's so long. We lost.
Feels like a long time.
Yeah. But with many more to go. But I still don't know her story. Even when she was having that acid reflux attack, I didn't know she was feeling like she was dying.
Yeah.
And so that's why your health is your responsibility.
Yeah. So Jason said something earlier in one of the other steps that I think is really important that we reiterate here is most of us grew up eating without any personal responsibility for what we're doing, right? Somebody else introduced us to animal-based foods. Somebody else told us what we should and what we shouldn't eat. We just did that. We just followed that because we didn't know any better. We were kids, right? But the beauty, the absolute beauty of this plan is that you get to take accountability. You get to make a decision to transform your health. And so the first little nugget, it's not your doctor's responsibility. It's not solely your doctor's responsibility. In fact, your doctor works for you, right? And so you may not have heard that, and I want you to hear me when I say that. Your doctor works for you, right? So it's so funny because, step 3, we talked about self-education, but there was a time I was feeling really bad and I was like, I've got to get some resolution, right? And I'm not a person that went to a doctor very often because I never felt like I wanted to be on too many things. So I used to try and avoid it as much as possible. But I made a decision, I'm going to go to a doctor and I'm going to let them help me. They're going to fix me because I should not feel this bad, right? And so I went to a doctor and I told her, hey, I'm feeling a little energy, migraines all the time. I've got joint pain. Well, you're fat, so you need to lose weight. That's kind of how doctors handle that. And I said, well, I've struggled to lose weight. I lose weight and gain it back and all this stuff. And so the doctor said, you know what, Cece, what we'll do is we'll put you on a doctor-assisted weight loss program. Basically means we're going to put you on a prescription level weight loss pill, right? And I literally was like, okay, she knows best. And I took these pills, and look, I don't tell this story very often, but when I was in college, I took a diet pill that was over the counter, and it was such a shock to my system that I literally lost feeling in my legs and fell to the floor and just laid there until the feeling came back, right? I didn't tell the doctor that either because I was like, this is the solution. Common sense principle, I've already had a negative experience. Why would I choose to do something else? But I completely gave all responsibility, to my health to someone else. And so we got on this program, I lost a few pounds, and we did it for a couple of months, and then it stopped working as well. And then she was like, well, we can't keep you on it because of the stimulants, and it's not good for your heart, and all these things. And, when we went on our journey some years later, and I learned that doctors don't really get much nutrition education, I was like, why didn't this woman tell me to eat plants? Plants changed my life. Like, literally, I got results in weeks on a plant-based diet. I felt so much different. And I started doing my self-education. I realized, doctors don't even have nutrition education. So why would I put, not very much at least, why would I put the responsibility for my health and my vitality and my well-being in the hands of somebody who's not doing the education to direct me? So I had to decide to take my health into my own hands. And that's what you're going to decide to do. You've bought this course, you've invested, you're already in the second set of videos. You're on step 4. We're deep into the mindset now. You've made a decision and you get to take personal responsibility, and you don't have to dictate. That doesn't have to just come from your doctors anymore. Now you get to say, what, I get a say in this, right? So about your partner.
Yes.
Right? We call this couples edition. Obviously, you don't need to be a couple to take this course. It's going to help you no matter what. But at times, we put our selves in the hands of our partners, and we have this expectation that this person loves me, they know me, they're going to do what's best for me, and I'm going to let them, right? And even that is a dangerous position to put yourself in, right? Because I don't know, what Jason's done in terms of his self-education. And if I were to let Jason be in charge of my health, where would we be right now?
Of course. We probably wouldn't have been plant-based, that's for sure.
Right, because my triggering event that I told you earlier about my acid reflux is what got me looking at plant-based diet. That was that transformed both of our lives, that one moment, right? But if I had waited on him and deferred and said, you know what, he's the leader of this house and he's going to decide what's best for us. Well, who knows what would have happened? We might have tried something else.
And so, and I really love CC saying that because one, about your doctor works for you. They do not own you. They don't own your health. You can fire your doctor whenever you want. And also your partner, it's not their responsibility to do it. Like, I am so grateful CC used her experience, her strong suits of studying and looking at all the scientific information, because I don't do that. That's not my strong suits. I just don't work that way. And so with her finding those things out and then showing me some of the different videos, different doctors who agree with that lifestyle, who embodied that lifestyle, it started helping me with my self-education to where I was able to start going and doing more and more things. And it got me on a path that I knew was right for my life also. And it just happened to be, was both our paths were on plant-based, but it's still different paths even today.
Yeah, that's a really good point, right? And so we're talking about this idea that, you know, it's your personal responsibility. You get to choose the path that you go on. But even with Jason saying, you know, like, I did all this research and you know, that's my personality type or whatever, but I started on the plant-based journey alone because I made a decision for my own health and I was like, I can't do that again. I'm not willing to die here now, you know? And so that was a decision that I made. Jason had to catch up later.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We want you to know that, you know, if you introduce this course to your partner and they say, hey, I'm not interested in that, that's okay. When you start to feel better, when you start to look better, when you start to have more energy and the people around you start to notice, that's when they start to make a change. Right? So we can influence other people, but we can't do it for them. Right? And that's been a huge thing for us. Jason and I have gotten so much health and vitality back that people around us were like, what are you doing? Right? I didn't even go to my sisters and say, you need to be plant-based because you're going to die. But they watched us and they started to do their own research and they started to do some self-education. They took some personal accountability and then they started to transform their health. Right? And so that there's a ripple effect, but it's always going to be your personal accountability and your personal path.
Yeah. And so when we transitioned, CC was still doing a little cheese. I was still on eggs. I was like, I have to get protein somewhere. I need my protein, believing in the protein myth.
Mm-hmm.
And so when CC finally went fully transition, I was still doing eggs. I would do at least 1 or 2 eggs a day. I was like, okay, it's a little bit of protein. I was like, we can barter. I'll give you some fruits and vegetables and grains and everything, but at least let me get my protein. And she gave me the space to do that. Until one day she saw was it a seminar or a webinar?
It was like a presentation on YouTube. You got it in your workbooks.
And Dr. Greger was talking and she knew that was going to hit home. Because remember, I had a cardiac event. I was really worried about that. And once I saw that, I was like, okay, no more eggs. And I never ate eggs again that day until I unintentionally had it with the sandwich. But today, our paths are still different. Like CC's more of a raw eater. I do a lot of high supplementation. Also, I like to work out really, really hard. So that's why I'm walking 150 miles plus a month and going to hike mountains for fun.
While I stay at home and read books.
Yes.
Right? And that the reason we're kind of laughing and joking, but we want you to know that it's okay if your partner is doing something different, right? It's okay if you guys are not on the same path. It's okay if it converges a little bit. Because you're on a personal, individual journey, right? I eat a lot of raw food because I feel best that way. Jason doesn't want to eat salad all day, every day. Like, that's not his jam, right? But he eats a very nutrient-dense diet, right? And that it's okay that we do these things differently. We still get to sit down and have meals together. We still really, are supportive of one another, but it's okay if it looks different. And so if you have a friend who's on a plant-based diet, or you see Jason and I and we post something and you're like, I'm not there yet, we don't want you to measure your journey to someone else's, right? Like it's important that you're not stuck in comparison because there's no comparison. You live in your body and it's up to you.
Yes, and so we are at the end of the mindset part, and we're about to get into the map. And so the map is going to be really, 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 really important, and it's going to show you how to stay on that path once you've chosen your path and make it a lot easier. Because you don't want to go through the path with a bunch of rocks, poison ivy, and then you're itching and you're complaining the whole way. So we want to get you on the right path and make sure it's very easy with the map that we put together. So just take it. We'll see you soon.